Hello and welcome. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. Procyon, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of our podcast network and everything we do. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump and UConn legendary men's basketball player Jake Voskuhl. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return on your taxes. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, car accident, your mother-in-law ran you over with her car, your wife got angry one night and decided to stab you, the Finch Firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all across the state of Connecticut. He will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. You just have to remember, in a pinch, call Finch or go to his website, thefinchfirm.com. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, all sports. He has a boot camp program 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice from the ground up, helps them reach their full potential, be the best they can possibly be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for all different types of sports. To work with the best, he has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Hartford, Connecticut. Go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. All right, and here we are for Luther James Insurance. And James, I just talked with Joe. He thought he was talking with you today, this afternoon. So I think he got his days mixed up.
Let me see. Let me look at my calendar. Give me 1 second.
Everybody. So I apologize.
Oh, he said today?
Yeah, he said he thought he was talking to you today, this afternoon.
What time? This is not on my calendar.
Yeah. Call him whatever time you called him, the time that he ignored your call.
Okay.
I think that's I know he was on vacation skiing, so I think that probably screwed him up. So that must be why. But yeah, he definitely wants to talk. So we got some really good feedback last week, and this is James Whitfield, Luther James Insurance. And, you know, people really asked why policies right now are more affordable and easier than ever to get. And there's millions of families that really remain uninsured.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is the biggest misconception that you hear from clients? Like why would you say people would wait until a major life event happens before they get coverage?
Because they don't think anything can happen to them. That's pretty much it.
I think they're just going to live forever.
Yeah. So for argument's sake, I work with a lot of police officers, and they're young.
Right. First responders. Right. Yeah.
And you're on a job where today could be your last day, God forbid. But and I'm talking about not police officers in like Greenwich, Connecticut, or
no,
or Stanford. I'm talking like the Bronx. I'm talking Brooklyn. I'm talking like Newark, New Jersey. High crime areas, and they think that because they're young, you don't need it. And I try to explain to them that being young has nothing to do with it. Being young is the best thing for you because your insurance is cheaper. You have more coverage for a better price. And then on top of that, if you're doing a whole life policy, and you structure it correctly, you can use it as a backup plan to pull money out.
Exactly.
And when I talk to like the lieutenants and the sergeants and things like that, who are higher up and then they're in their 40s and 50s, they all say to me, "Wow, I wish I knew this when I was younger."
Right. Because I said this, the big misconception that I hear from people is I just need life insurance for, my funeral, for when I die. They don't understand everything that goes along with it.
That's the other misconception. Everyone thinks that insurance is there in case you're going to pass away, and part of it is true. I'm not saying
the final expense, right?
Yes. Yeah, part of it is true, but again, depending on your health status, your age, there's some policies that will cover you in case you have an accident or like you had something traumatic. Let's say, for argument's sake, you got cancer, and you don't have the money to, like, your insurance covers but so much, and you don't have the money to cover the rest. There are some life insurance policies that give you living benefits, and the living benefits is critical illness, chronic illness, and terminal illness. So, if you have a good policy, let's say, for argument's sake, even if you had a term policy, there's some term companies that do offer you living benefits. You get a portion of your death benefit up front. If 2 out of 3 things happen in your category. So if it's like let's say you got into a car accident and you can't dress yourself and you can't walk, you're entitled to a portion of your death benefit.
Right.
So you're entitled, I think, up to 80 or 90%, depending on the company.
And it pays off, to do it.
Yeah.
So some people were asking about numbers because this is where I guess people get stuck. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a family and you have 2 kids, how much typically would you recommend that they put down for, if you were doing a whole life insurance policy or an IUL?
So what I do is I always ask people, what is it that you can afford that's not going to hamper your everyday life?
Yes, it's not going to default on. You can't treat it like a bill.
Correct. Because if you treat it like a bill, it's going to treat you back like a bill. I hate paying my cable bill. I hate paying my light bill. But guess what? If I don't pay my light bill, I have no lights. If I don't pay my cable bill, I'm looking at a blank screen or snow. Exactly.
But if you're talking with a family of 2, that has 2 kids, and they say, well, I can put down $5,000. That's not really going to cut it. I mean, they need to be able to put down. Yeah. They need to put down $50,000 minimum, right? Would you say?
So it all depends on what their income is. So if combined they make $50,000 or $60,000.
Well, no.
Yeah, but right. Like
their household income.
Yeah. So if it's both of you, and you have 2 kids, and it's 2 of you, and you're still pretty young, like you're in your 30s or your early 40s or something like that, I would have a come into Jesus moment with them and just ask them pertinent questions. For argument's sake, if somebody was to pass away, or somebody got an illness, like if somebody had cancer,
Right.
do you have the money right now to get proper care? And this is what proper care costs.
Exactly.
Can you pick this up out of pocket?
Yeah, exactly. And basically, to pay for that proper care, putting that down in your insurance policy is going to ensure you much more long-term benefits than it would, just paying out of pocket for that care when
Yeah.
you're really building up equity in your insurance.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I have a very good friend of mine. We've been friends for probably 20 years or so. She has cancer in her family. So her father just passed away a year or two ago from cancer, and I think her mom passed away before I met her. Her mom passed away from cancer, and I said to her, "It sounds like you have the cancer gene in your family. You should take care of yourself now."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because why put this burden on your husband?
Exactly. And wait for it. And I'm pretty sure there's testing they can do to find out the markers to
Yep.
see if you're more prevalent
Yep.
for that.
Well, you submit blood and urine.
Exactly.
Know?
But the other thing people asked, okay, if they have 2 kids and you're looking to plan for college, you're looking to plan for your retirement, your life insurance policy can do both.
Yes. And if it's properly constructed.
When it's properly constructed. And, cheap isn't always right. You can always do things a cheap way, but it's not the right way to do it, right?
I've had people, I've had people like I would go and sell insurance to nurses and stuff in the hospitals in New York, and I had nurses from another country just say to me, "What am I paying for insurance for? I don't see it work." I says, "Well, you should be glad you don't see it working, because when it does happen, you're paying for something that will take care of you. So thank God every day that you don't need to activate it."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I said to her, you want to fall down some stairs now just to see if it works? Like, you want to put your health at risk? Does that matter?
Right. But as you also mentioned, it can be used to pay for college tuition at some point. If you get it at a certain age and the kids are a certain age,
or you put in
can
a certain
pull some of that money out. Yeah. Right.
Well, especially for kids, because in all honesty, if you want your kids to have a good life, like if you have kids and they're still an infant, that is the very perfect time, because you can sock away 10 grand and turn it into a good million and a half by the time they're 30 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And one of the questions asked was, how many years of income, and I know it depends on the person's income, but depending on their household income, how many years of income should life insurance replace for them?
And well, your earning years should be in your early years, your 20s,
right.
40s. So when you're nearing retirement, you want to be making the same amount of money that in your later years, if not a little more, because you want to enjoy life. Why you work so hard for it and put money in Social Security and all that stuff. Me personally, I think Social Security is a scam, because
it's outdated. It doesn't work.
You can't touch it when you need it. You socked away all this money for years. You've been really saving this money from when you were a teenager, working at McDonald's for your first job, or
not by choice either.
Not by choice. Not by choice. But like, my thing is, how much money you think is in your Social Security over the years, if you've been working for like 20, 30 years or 40 years, and you're 35, 40 years old. how much money do you think you have in your Social Security? Because
Well, I mean, it's nothing, right? I mean, it was initially created so people could retire and live off Social
yeah,
Security forever. In
and
reality, it doesn't work that way.
it doesn't work that way because they keep changing the rules. They keep pushing the age back. They keep pushing it forward. I mean, by the time I'm ready for retire, I'm going to be 57. Knock on wood this year. I'm at that.
We lie on this show. You're 45.
but we're going to be on the precipice of saying, well, what are we going to do in our retirement years? And I honestly don't look at Social Security as a retirement plan. That is the worst retirement.
It's not because
the government tells you what you can use. The government tells you.
Yeah, it does. It did 100% does. But I mean, paying your rent, food, and paying for medication, all that stuff. It doesn't cover that.
It saddens me when I speak to older people who never put money away, or didn't put enough money away. Because here's the thing about 401ks. Once you spend that money, whatever is in there, it's gone. Yep. So you have to have some kind of strategy. If you're a person where you like, I want my money now, and you put in like 5% of your income into your 401k, whether the company matches it or not, at the end of the day, if you're a guy who is making like 50, 60 grand a year, and you didn't really sock away that much money, and you've been doing that job for 20 something years or 30 years or whatever it is, you're lucky to have 100, 150, 200 grand in there at minimum, and I've been fortunate.
That's not going to last.
It's never going to last. Like I was working with an officer who retired. I think she retired in her 60s, and she only has 100 grand. She only has 100 grand in her in her retirement, and she has to work.
Yeah, she's basically gonna have to take on another job because she can't afford to live off that.
Yeah, she has to work. So I said, listen, I have to do something for you that's you're not going to be comfortable with, but you're going to be working anyway. Let's put that 100 grand and put it to work for you. And she doesn't want to let it go. I'm like, yeah, you can access it, but how long you think $100,000 is going to last?
In this day and age, not very long.
100,000, you're lucky if you get past 2-3 months, honestly, and that's living modestly. I'm not saying you're going to turn around and buy a Mercedes.
And I mean, even in her 60s, women typically live until their 80s.
Yep.
She could have pretty good money after 15 years.
Yeah.
And still be healthy and comfortable.
I put that money into an annuity for her, a fixed index annuity. That 100 grand turned into 375, almost 400. By the time she is 72.
So that pretty much saved her right there.
Yeah. I mean, it did something. You know what I mean? It's not much. When it comes
to better than what she had.
Oh, way better. Way better. Yeah. Way better. And it didn't cost her a thing. It didn't cost her a thing because her money's collecting compounded interest on the S&P 500 like an IUL. The only thing is she has to pay taxes every time she withdraws that money.
Right. So, and we've talked about this. Term life insurance, it's more affordable, but it's temporary. And you said it can change after 10 years, I believe.
Well, depending on what age you've applied for.
You apply for, okay.
So if you applied for it in your 30s or your 40s, you might get 30, 40 years, right? But 9 out of 10 people outlive term.
Yes.
So when you try now to get insured again, you were insured from the age you started. Now that contract is over. That contract's over. That deal's over. You were paying for $1 million. You were paying $75 a month, right? So now that ship has sailed. So if you're trying to reinsure yourself, so let's say at 30, you're 60, it's 30 years, and now you're at 60. By the time you re-enlist for term insurance,
You're going to be very limited.
you're going to be very limited in what you can get. You're going to be limited in your health, because at 60, we all got some kind of issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, you're only going to get anywhere between 10 and 15 years.
Wow.
You're not going to get 30. You're not going to get 20, because the insurance company's job is to make money.
But there are certain instances where you have used term life insurance, correct?
Once.
It was very, very rare.
Yeah, I had a guy.
You stay away from it.
Yeah, I do. I had a guy who wanted $1 million policy because he was going overseas to work, and he just wanted to make sure if something happened to him where he was going overseas. I think he was a contractor going to Iraq or something like that. So he said, he wanted $1 million policy, and I think he was paying something like $200 a month.
And you have also mentioned IULs. They have a lot of flexibility, a lot of growth potential.
Correct.
Talk a little bit about IULs. Are they a separate policy on their own?
Yes,
they are. Okay,
but it's what I call whole life policy on steroids.
Yes, that's what you said about it.
Because you can make anywhere between 6.5% to 12% on your money in compounded interest every year.
So with anyone you're dealing with, depending on their age
and health,
you would put them in an IUL if possible.
Yeah, age, health, and I just have to make sure they don't have any criminal background or anything. They'll get you on a speeding ticket. So they'll get you on a speeding ticket. Yeah.
You said that to me. To me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I had a kid, I had a woman who wanted to insure her son at 25 years old or 22 years old. And I'm like, oh, it's perfect. Yeah. $150 a month. That's a great deal. And he got rejected because he had 3 speeding tickets over the speed limit of 85 to 90 miles an hour.
Right.
3 times. Your risk.
That's all it takes.
Yep.
That's all it takes. And you've shown different policies, but the underwriting of it has changed dramatically. Approvals are faster.
Approvals have gotten better because I guess the companies are learning from COVID. During COVID, a lot of it was limited. That they didn't want to insure people that they knew was going to die.
Right.
But it's changed. Some of it has gotten a little more automated depending on the amount of coverage you're going for. So. And it depends on the age you start. So if you're in your early 20s to I think maybe 30, 35, you might be able to just pass through. You get what's called automatic underwriting, where they just go through your health records to look at your past history and pass a failure.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
And how long does it typically take you to underwrite an insurance policy? Or do you have someone that does it for you?
The company does it. Now, I do what's called in-field underwriting because I'll ask certain questions that I know that they're looking for, the company. And, at the end of the day, it's really the company to pass a failure. I can't pass a failure. I can pass everybody if that was the case.
With exams and everything, what are the biggest factors? I mean, it's weight, obviously. Mental health for sure, chronic conditions. How would you say those are treated today when you're applying for an insurance policy?
So if you had any psychological ailments, like
you're bipolar,
you're going to fail.
You're done.
Now you can get guaranteed issue insurance, but you can't get anything that's going to build wealth. You can get regular, final expense, but
okay,
gotta be guaranteed issue because at that point that As long as you stay healthy in in the first 2 years of your policy, that's when you're covered. So what happens in the first 2 years, if something happens to you in the first 2 years, they're only going to pay you with interest whatever you paid in the policy. So if you have $8,000 coverage and you're paying like $75 a month, they're only going to pay you what you put in plus interest. And I think most companies is like 10% interest or something like that, 10 or 15% interest.
Because we talked about this before. So many people suffer from depression or anxiety. That plays a major factor in your insurance.
It does.
You know, if you're on Zoloft or something like that, if you say you're clinically depressed,
even if you were prescribed and you've never taken it, even if you were prescribed
at some point,
yeah, you don't have to take it. You were prescribed it. They're failing. They're failing.
Right, because a doctor prescribed it for you.
Yep.
So even depression can automatically fail you.
Yeah, because depression to an insurance company says you're in endangerment.
You're a risk. Yeah. And that, because someone was asking about that, because that seems crazy, because the number of Americans who deal and live with depression is extremely high. So people who have that, are there any avenues that they can go for policies that they'll qualify for?
Final expense.
That's all they'll get is final expense.
Guaranteed issue final expense. Yeah, they can't.
Wow.
Because they don't have to be underwritten. So like I said, if they make it past the first 24 months of their policy, then they're fully insured.
Okay. Then they have to make it past the 24 months.
It's a little pricier. It's a little pricier than simplified issue, because simplified issue just goes. You don't have to do a blood and urine test. It just goes off your MIB records. But if you I deal with this on a regular basis, because I have people that I when I'm registering them for insurance, especially for final expense, and some of them are like 40, 50 years old. And you would think, oh, this person's going to be simplified. No, because they had some kind of diabetes. They've had some kind of treatment, whether it's dialysis, because you have dialysis, you're not going to get fully insured. You're going to get guaranteed issue.
Right. Recently, what would you say are some of the most surprising approvals that you've seen?
I had a lady, I think she was like 80, because I think that I think the limit for certain companies is like 85, and she was 80, 81, 82, and she passed with flying colors. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Like just a regular policy,
regular final expense. Regular
wow.
final expense. She passed with. I was like, wow, what is your contribution to your health? Because I want to learn. She passed with flying colors.
That is crazy to hear. That is crazy.
Normally I'm like, all right, you're 80 something years old, you're going right into guaranteed issue. I'm not even gonna, but something said, put it through simplified and see what happens. And she passed with, she didn't even come up graded. She came through level. Like she was free and clear.
People, when they look at life insurance policies, they have to realize it's not just numbers. They're stories, they're families, they're people. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about any specific claims that you recall that changed families' futures for the better?
I had a woman in New York. She came through a friend of mine, and I signed her up and her husband. And they were giving her husband a little problem because some kind of condition he had, but they passed him. The policy was like $150, $150,000, and I think they were paying. I think he was paying something like 150 a month or something like that. He passed away in 6 months after signing up.
Oh my God. Wow.
And she called to let me know he passed away, but thanked me because they didn't dispute his passing. The insurance company did not dispute the passing. They paid her within 3 days, $150,000. I felt her
And
hugging me through the phone. That's how grateful she was.
is that unusual to get paid out that quickly?
Yeah,
It is. Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, on paper, it's supposed to be like that on paper, but there's always somebody trying to kind of fight the claim or whatever. They paid her out in 3 days.
So if they decide to fight the claim, they dispute the death or they dispute the circumstances of it, and they'll do whatever they can to try to not pay it at all.
If it looks shady, yes. So like he passed away in the hospital. They just wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that he did to himself to pass away. You know what I mean? They just wanted to make sure that he passed away of whatever the cause was. And I forgot exactly what the issue was, but I think
Right.
he had some kind of minor heart issue or something, but it wasn't, he was on medication and everything. And it just so happens that I think he might have overdone it or something like that. And just,
Right.
Killed over, but, they paid his claim out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And then, can you give an example of maybe somebody that you were talking with about trying to sign up for a policy where, they may have wanted to wait too long
Yeah.
and how
A friend of
waiting
mine.
can be costly?
It was a friend of mine.
Friend.
Yeah. It's a friend of mine. Her mother was going in and out the hospital, in and out the hospital. She had very bad health. I said, listen, you need to put your mom on insurance. Well, I can't afford it. I says, you can't afford insurance, but can you afford a funeral?
That's the, what, that's the best way to relate to people when you
Yeah.
put it in terms like that.
Funeral's like 10 to 15 grand.
Right. Easily.
Yeah.
So you when you make it sound like that
Yeah.
puts it in terms, dollars and cents, they can
Yep.
understand. That'll
Yep.
make a difference.
And then she kept coming back and forth. Well, I don't want to pay for it alone. I says, listen, it's your mom. If it was my mom, I would eat crackers for dinner than to pay for it, honestly. So it's all on where your priorities are. So I've been going back and forth with her with that issue for almost 2 years. It got to the point where I walked away. So actually it was a couple weeks ago. It was like maybe 3 weeks ago. She had sent me a text. My mom passed.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Mom is 60, 68, 69 years old. But she was, highly diabetic. And I said, listen, I can get it covered, but, without an exam, but you have to act today.
There's no waiting.
When it comes to older people, time is of the essence.
Yeah, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow at all.
I got every excuse under the planet. I said, listen, I'm not chasing you. It's your matter to deal with, And I just sent her my condolences and wished her well, and then that was it. Because this is one of those moments where I wanted to say I told you so, but it's not appropriate.
Right. When it definitely is, and I told you so.
Yeah.
What do you tell people about, the ones who are signing up maybe later in life, or signing up for their loved ones, their spouses, the emotional impact of being prepared for when it's going to happen and how to deal with that? Because in some cases you are like a counselor and a psychologist having to talk them through it.
Yeah. Like I'm literally talking people through doing the whole process, because I keep saying You know, like I have a friend of mine who doesn't want to insure his kids. I says, you're doing the biggest disservice not insuring your children. No, I don't want to think about it like that if they're going to die. I says, you should think about it as if they're going to die, because look at the world we're living in. God forbid, I've seen,
Absolutely.
people die taking the subway. You know, people getting killed in school. Kids are getting killed in school.
Yeah, we just saw the trial down in Texas. Yeah. Absolutely right. And when you're doing that with them, does it make a difference? Does it resonate with them? The emotional impact of listen, like you have to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
And this is your safety net. You can either have it or you can't. And you're not asking for $1 million here.
No.
This is the bare minimum to help you.
You have people like I used to work at this hospital selling insurance to the nurses at this hospital in the Bronx, and this is when this is a couple years ago when that crazy guy shot up folks in the subway in Brooklyn. It was, and I used to work in that area in Sunset Park, and I think the guy shot like 15 people or something like that, and 1 or 2 died from the bullets. And these are people just going to work on a regular day. And I spoke to a couple of folks there. Oh, well, I don't want to hear that, because I just pray to God every day. I says, listen, at some point, as powerful as God is, he's not going to protect everybody. Like everybody's life and death decision comes at a reason, and you still have to prepare yourself.
You absolutely do.
You have to prepare yourself, because do you want to pay for if you have 2 or 3 kids on that train, or if you were on that train and you were with your children, who's going to bury you?
Yeah. And those are things people don't want to think about, but unfortunately they have to.
Truth. It's the hard truth.
It is. It's reality. All right. We're going to go to one of our sponsors real quickly. I'll play his video. Finally, we have James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance. For the last 3 years, James has dedicated himself to the art of financial services. He specializes in life insurance and insurance policies. He will save you money, make you a boatload of money, and do so tax-free. He also specializes in retirement planning, because we know the stress that goes into thinking about retirement. How much am I going to need? For how long? Do we have enough? Because fear of the unknown is real. To contact James, go to www.lutherjamesinsurance.com. All right. What would you say, because, I know you've been doing this going on 4 years now, a story that sticks out to you most from your career, either good or bad?
So I had a young police officer. He worked in the Bronx, and he was in Brooklyn. I was selling him an accident policy, and I said to him, because you're an officer, this accident and sickness policy goes with the accident policy. Buy them both. And the first policy was only $15. The other one was like $20, $25 or something like that. He didn't want to spend $45 a month. I says, bro, you spend.
Finally, we have. Sorry, go ahead.
I said, you spend more money on PS5 games than your insurance.
Did you really say that?
Yeah. Because he's 22, 23 years old. He still lives at home with his mom. And I said, what is $45 going to do for you a month? Like, is that really going to bother you? right?
Yeah.
So he said to me, no, I'll just pay for the $15 one. I says, all right, no problem. But I'm telling you right now, because of the situation, the job you work,
Yeah.
you're shorting yourself big time. So 5 days after he signed up for the policy, he was on the Belt Parkway and he got hit by a cab on his motorcycle. He was on his motorcycle. He got hit by a cab. And I kid you not, everybody. I kid you not. He got hit by a cab, right? The EMS saw that they saw his badge and gun, right? They had a helicopter come in.
They medevaced him.
And medevaced him.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money he lost?
Well, he survived, which is good.
He survived.
But yeah, to get medevaced is thousands upon thousands of dollars. Yes.
He would have gotten from the insurance company, he would have gotten $2,500 just from that. Just from that.
Oh my God.
But he also had surgery.
Yeah.
He had surgery in his leg.
Because he wasn't on the job. That's right.
No. Doesn't matter whether he's on the job or not. He's covered. He's covered.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had surgery on his leg and he had surgery on his wrist. And he stayed in the hospital for almost 2 weeks. Ask me how much money he lost.
That's probably close to six figures, right?
No. This particular policy pays him for every day he's in the hospital.
I'm sorry. Yes.
It would have paid him. It would have paid him for the surgeries because he had 2 surgeries. He lost on the 2 surgeries alone a good $4,000, right?
Right.
He lost $1,200 just on going to the hospital.
The medevac.
No, the medevac was $2,500.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow.
He shot himself in the foot almost 30 grand because he didn't want to pay $45.
That's insane.
And how I knew he called me to sign him up for additional policy.
Yeah, right after.
Yeah, I said that's the hardest lesson anybody can learn.
Now, if there is an incident and someone were to pass, are you normally the first person they contact?
If they want to, I mean, they
don't have to, but they.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had to file a claim for anybody. I just say, hey, call the insurance company. But and if not, I'll do it on the phone with you. And I'll do that. I'll stop my day and call the insurance company and make sure that you're taken care of.
And I mean, how has that been for you? Because that's got to be challenging that you're dealing with these life and death situations on a daily basis. I get it's part of the job, but it definitely takes a special kind of person to have the sympathy and empathy to work with these people and be there for them. I mean, you're really there for them during the tough times. Hardest times of their life.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing Medicare because I'm dealing with older people who, in some cases, are stuck in their ways. They don't want to change. They just know what they have, and they don't want to, And I can have something 10 times better, than what they currently have.
Yeah,
and in some cases, you're not paying for it. You know what I mean? And you're getting more service. And they always question, well, how is it I'm getting more and I'm not paying for anything? And then I want to lie to them and be like, well, this is how the program is, which is true. But I'm not asking you for any money.
Right.
I'm just moving your contracts over. That's it.
Right. And the benefit for you is very minimal.
Very minimal.
Yeah. Very minimal, if anything.
Yeah. I got to the point where I just didn't want to be bothered.
No. And I wouldn't either. I mean, if it's not doing anything positive for you, if it just takes away, of course. The other thing, business owners can get life insurance specifically for them.
Yes.
They have key person insurance, buy and sell agreements. Um, how do they use policies for retention or executive benefits?
So there's you can do a particular IUL for your officers. Like if you have 4 or 5 guys in your office that your business couldn't survive without them, you insure them. There's a package that will kind of compensate them when they're ready to leave. Or
Oh, okay.
or it's good retention if something happens to them and it's for the death benefit goes towards their family. It's a policy that you don't have to do too much. You don't have to do blood and urine and all that stuff. It's coverage for yourself, but the company benefits because it's a group policy.
Got you. Got you. And how many, do you typically work with business owners?
I do, but I haven't done a key man just yet, only because
Right. You said you don't like those.
No, I'll do them. I think it's a good thing for business owners. It's a great way to keep your company intact. So you're not always interviewing for people. You're offering benefits. This is a benefit you're offering. I really show business owners how to benefit from their how to build extra wealth for themselves with the revenue of the business without using the revenue of the business, without using any revenue from the business, I should say.
All right. I'll play our last video from our sponsors. Down south, we have the Trench Mob, run by Julius Williams in Decatur, Georgia. He trains offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5v5 tournaments and college showcase camps across the country. Julius has sent kids to schools like Florida, Florida State, Miami, Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. We have the Trench Mob podcast every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. If you want your kid to go to college and play Division I football and be trained by the best, you go to the Trench Mob. To contact them, go to www.battleofthetrenches.com. Ned Von Young owns Fresh Fold Laundry Company down in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It's a high-end laundry service. They wash, dry, and fold your clothes for you. They have a pickup and drop-off delivery service, so you can have your laundry done in the comfort of your own home without ever leaving. You put your laundry in a clear plastic bag, put it out, they pick it up, everything is done, wash, dried, and fold, and it is dropped off to you within 48 hours. They offer an expedited service as well. They have an online subscription model. You can also book online to schedule your pickups. They have deals for college students. So if you're in college, wash your nasty ass, and you can go to their website. It's myfreshfold-laundry.com. All right. So what mistakes would you say people make when choosing beneficiaries? Because that always comes up.
Well, picking a beneficiary is a personal thing. So I really don't
Stay out of that.
Yeah, because I can't say, oh, don't let your mom be a beneficiary.
Well,
So
if they ask you, do you get asked?
Well, here's what I do. So like if I'm doing like an IUL and it's a big, revenue type IUL, like if it's giving you like 10-15 million bucks in cash and it's still building up, I tell people, I advise this is, listen, if you want this to still continue to grow, put it in a trust.
Right. Right.
That's it.
That's the best way to go.
Because then anybody else who you want to assign to get to leave money for would be in that trust.
So with the advent of AI, what other,
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hey Cody, can I call you back in like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, call you right back.
No problem.
All right. Sorry about that.
no problem. AI, what innovations do you see reshaping the industry within the next 5 years?
With AI?
Well, in general, AI is one of them, but
Yeah.
other innovations that you could see reshaping the industry in 5 years.
For me, AI has been awesome because it kind of automates a whole lot of stuff that I do. I use it for finding me clients. I use it for scripting for like my media posts. I use it for scripting when I'm talking to people, trying to get an appointment with them.
Right.
It's a great tool. I don't feel like it's replacing at least my job. It enhances. Now, I did post something on my LinkedIn the other day about AI at Comic-Con, one of the Comic-Cons. And one of the Comic-Cons is banning AI artwork.
Really?
And, oh yeah, and I totally support it. I totally support it because
Well,
I'm an artist. Yes,
yeah, right.
And I think that too much of it will re-automate the whole world at some point, and there's no human activity within it. You know what I mean? There's no human interaction. And me being an artist, I applaud keeping AI art out of mainstream venues like that because it it takes jobs. Like some people will say, well, why don't I save money and I can save myself $1 million if I don't hire this particular artist to design my comic book. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
When I can for 20 grand, I can pay somebody to do it through computers. So I like the fact of AI, but at the same time, you have to kind of be able to curb it.
And, where would you say the industry is heading? I mean, because there are faster approvals, there is smarter underwriting, and there are more personalized policies.
Now,
So,
the smarter underwriting is through AI, believe it or not, in most cases.
Oh, okay. So the underwriting can be done through AI.
Yep.
But
put in what you're looking for and what you don't want, and then it makes its decisions.
Right. But in general, the industry seems to be growing and prospering.
Yes.
And that's why yourself, you got into it. And that's why more people should get into it because it is a lucrative industry. It is an industry that pays well. And it is an industry that truly helps people. It shows that you care and it shows that you help people.
Like I've had my ups and downs in the business, but I, for one, know that insurance, whether it's health insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, property insurance, the insurance business pumps out the most millionaires. And you can have a high school education
and still it builds that generational wealth that we've talked about.
If you stick with it, because it's not always going to be, flower and roses. It's not.
No. And you've definitely experienced that, and you're only 4 years in, and you're definitely happy with the decision you made to get into the industry. And I think it's only onwards and upwards from here.
At that point, yes.
All right. Well, James, great episode as always. You're building a nice following. I'll send you the YouTube link.
Yep.
And I will get it posted. I'll get clips made, and we'll get all that up. But to contact James, again, his website, LutherJamesInsurance.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can message him. You can contact him anywhere. He is very accessible, and he will meet all your needs, and he will find the best plan that will suit you in the right way.
And
And
let me cut in. Thank you for everybody who tunes in, because without your viewership, we wouldn't exist. So thank you once again.
Yes, thank you, because we are growing a nice audience. And if you told me a life insurance show would grow that big, that fast, I would have been surprised. But thousands upon thousands of viewers love your show, so we appreciate it, and I'm glad that we got most of the questions answered. So we will see you next week. For James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.